So welcome to another Dark Wizard Gaming Battle Report. I'm really excited to see Gabe and David face off. Gabe, what'd you bring today?
I brought Warriors of the Dark Gods, and it's mostly Wrath, so it should be fun.
Excellent. I see a little Nurgle in there too.
Yep, little Pestilence, mostly just Pestilence Warriors, and 2 Lust Chariots.
Okay. And David, what'd you bring today?
I brought my dwarves.
Excellent. And what kind of dwarf list do you have today?
It's kind of a mix. It's probably, I usually do close combat, so this is a lot more shooting than I'm used to. So we'll see how it goes.
It looks very interesting. This is going to be a quick battle. I'm excited to see how fast the lines come together. So we're playing Refuse Flank. We're going to go with Breakthrough, so that'll be interesting for the dwarves on that. And we're playing 5,000 points with version 1.3. So let's see what happens here. Good luck, guys.
Alrighty. Alright, first up is my general, Dwarven King, King Dane, and he's got shield bearers. He also has 2 runes of shielding and a shield, so that gives him a 4-up ward save in close combat. He also has 2 runes of might for strength 6 and a rune of precision for lightning reflexes. Last up is the rune of steel, so rerollable 1-up armor save. Next is my BSB. He's a Thane. He's got the hold stone. On his BSB is the Rune of Dismay, and he's got a great weapon and a pistol, so he can swap between either strength 6 or 4 attacks. My engineer has a shield and a Wormslayer rocket. I've got a runesmith. She has 3 battle runes. They are the runes of Reckoning, the rune of Resilience, and the rune of Gleaming. She also has a rune of Brilliance and a rune of Devouring, which won't see much use this battle. Finally, on characters, I've got my Anvil. It's got the Rune of Storms, and a Rune of Gleaming, and a Rune of Resilience. Okay, so starting on my right flank, I've got the Forge Wardens. There are 14 of them. They have full command and the Banner of Swiftness, so that they can move forward and maybe get some first turn shooting. I also have a Vengeance Seeker that's there to kind of guard my right flank. My main unit in the center is my Deep Watch, and they have a champion and a standard, and the Stalker banner, so Swift Stride and ignoring dangerous terrain checks. Inside that unit is going to be my General, my BSB, and my Runic Smith, so that's kind of my main Death Star. I deployed the Anvil kind of behind the wall there, and I might actually end up retreating those Forge Wardens back behind that wall now that things are kind of moving at me. On the hill, I kind of put a lot of my shooting up there. On the front and the ground there's a attack copter. He's the one that doesn't have the little cloud. In the air is the steam bomber. Behind them are some clan marksmen. There are 20 of them with shields and guild-crafted handguns and full command. And in them is my engineer. Behind that is the cannon, which is going to have quite a few things to shoot and probably not enough time to shoot them. Finally, holding the left flank down are my Greybeards. There are 20 of them. They've got a Vanguard move, which they use kind of to pull back just a little bit. Scary demons on this side. And they've also got great weapons, which I'm hoping will at least allow them to do something against all the monsters, and full command. I did finish deploying out first, so I am going to get a little bit of shooting before the Warriors of the Dark Gods come and eat me.
Alright, so for the Warriors of the Dark Gods, my general is actually the Demon Prince of Wrath. And the reason I made him the Demon Prince is because he's a little bit more survivable with a 1-up armor save and 5-up ward. So since that ward is against everything, I think he might be a little bit more survivable. He still has towering presence, so he'll be able to project that 18 inches of leadership 9 out to everyone instead of my anointed, who is a 3-up armor and only a 5-up ward against war machines. He also has the Razor Blade, Hardened Shield, Crown of Scorn, and Demonic Wings, Waste Hardened Skin. So he comes up to a 1-up armor, 5-up ward. He's strength 7 the first round of combat, so he's just a beast. Next is my real killer, which is the Anointed of Wrath on a dragon. I know he looks like he's Pestilence, but since Mark of Pestilence only works for the model itself, or for the character itself and not the whole model, we went with the Mark of Wrath so he can get that +1 to hit. He's got the Burning Blade of Chaos to make him just brutal in close combat, the Lucky Shield, the Cursed Icon, and he's of course riding a Wasteland Dragon. So he is going to just be a wrecking ball. My last character is an Anointed Harbinger of Wrath, riding a Crusher, and he's in with my Crusher unit. He's carrying the Ether Icon, so he can dispel as a Wizard Master. And that really is going to come in handy because I don't have any magic in this game. So between that and the Crown of Scorn, I'm really, that's my whole magic game here. After that, I've got 24 Warriors of Pestilence in a big block, 5x5. I've got 3 Crusher Knights with full command, 3 units of 5 Warhounds, 2 Wasteland Chariots of Lust, and as you may have noticed, I left my Wasteland Chariots of Lust at home, and at the last moment had to borrow Mike's Lion Chariots, which will hopefully still perform just as well. Just to throw this one out there, I decided to take a Wasteland Giant of Pestilence, and that's really a wild card in this game. I'm looking forward to watching him jump up and down on some dwarves, so we'll see how he does. And that's my army. It's really short and sweet, and small as a Chaos army should be.
Because I have the king, I get to pick one enemy unit to hate, and the Pestilence Warriors are probably going to be the hardest to hit, so that's why I decided to go for them. General movement was just a little bit of backpedaling, a little bit of forward movement on the Deep Watch, but otherwise it's just kind of bracing the guns and getting ready to shoot. So starting off the game with a generally strong magic phase, mostly because my opponent didn't see fit to stop anything except for the Strength 6 attacks. Just a bunch of general buffs. Got Resilience off on the Greybeards, Gleaming off on the Deep Watch, and Resilience off on the Doomseeker. So the shooting phase saw the closest unit of dogs get annihilated, a little bit more damage on the middle unit of chaff, and then the handgunners just started whittling away at that big unit of warriors threatening in the distance.
So for my movement phase, I tried to charge with my last dogs on my left flank, and they got mowed down by the stand and shoot. And with everybody else, I just moved up to the best position that I could without being in everyone's charge range. So hopefully next turn I'll be able to get some good charges off and get into some close combat, since that's the only 2 phases I have.
So in general, a lot of backing up. I tried bombing twice, obviously against warriors didn't work too well. Decided to charge his chaff on the left flank because there really wasn't a whole lot I could do about them, and I might as well clear them out. I'm kind of leaving my Greybeards out to dry, but only so much you can do. Alright, so after an abysmal magic phase where I didn't get anything off, I actually had a fairly decent shooting phase. A single cannonball hit did 4 wounds to the dragon, and then he got a lucky armor save to stop the Worm Slayer rocket from finally taking him down. Then I also did 1 wound on the Juggies and 2 wounds on the Chariot. So the Longbeards made short work of the dogs and losing only 1 of their number in return. However, the pain is coming.
Okay, so this was the movement phase of charges. Everything in my army except for the warriors charged. The Crushers and 1 of my Chariots did not make it. They rolled really low, but he had a banner that was going to subtract d6 from the charge anyway, so it was not going to go. Everything else made it though, which promises for an interesting combat phase. Alright, so combat phase was fairly eventful. We broke the Longbeards over on my right. The dragon killed a champion really hard, and that was about it in the challenge. And the Chariot of Lust crashed into the Deep Guard and killed 4 of them, but they held. So that combat's going to continue, and I have a feeling he's not going to survive because he's only got 1 wound left on him. So that was close combat, and now on we go.
Alright, so movement saw me do 2 charges with my Iron Breakers. 1 charge into the warriors that decided to flee from my Michus Dwarven right. And then I redirected into the Crushers and failed to get there. Rolled an 8 when I needed a 10. Other moves just kind of saw my Gyrocopter chaffing up his Crushers. So Magic Phase saw another strong Magic Phase. This time I got the Rune of Resilience off on the Forge Wardens, the Rune of Gleaming off on the Clan Marksmen, and the Rune of Reckoning on the Iron Breakers. So after a couple of lucky 6s, I only managed to do 1 wound on the Crushers. Alright, so on the right flank, the Forge Wardens and the Chariot got into an epic pillow fight and didn't do any wounds to each other, and he rolled a 3 to stick. And for the Dragon combat, I managed to really luck out with his to hit rolls and to wound rolls certain times, and even despite the breath weapon, I managed to stay long enough to probably get another cannon shot in.
So I charged with my Lion Chariot, or my Lust Chariot.
It looks like a lion chariot.
It looks like a Lion Chariot today. Charged with my Demon Prince, and then charged the Giant into the handgunners. My warriors rallied and are going to stand in the woods some more. So that's what they like to do. Crushers backed up some, so maybe we'll have a confrontation between them and the Iron Guard there, and maybe we won't. Who knows? And that's my movement phase. Alright, well, close combat. The Chariot did not kill the Chopper, so they're stuck in combat in between my Crushers and his Iron Guard. The Giant and the Dragon together killed off the handgunners, and now they're just staring at the Engineer and the Cannon. And the Demon Prince managed to kill off enough of the Longbeards that they ran, and he was able to run them down. The Lust Chariot and the Forge Wardens are still locked in combat because no one seems to be able to do any wounds to anyone over here.
Alright, so a lot of things happened in this movement phase. My Breakers finally got into some combat, so hopefully they can do better against the Chariots than everybody else has been doing. And the Seeker has gotten his wish. He is going to find his doom in an epic, epic fashion. Probably. Also, I moved the Engineer up so that he can potentially shoot the Giant, and if the cannon doesn't finish it off. And then also he should have target on the Demon Prince, but that's probably just going to be gravy. And otherwise, of note, the Steam Bomber finally managed to take off one of the Crushers. Another eventful Dwarven Magic phase. The Anvil managed to get hard target and distracting on the Drakes, and the Runic Smith got resilience and gleaming on the Breakers. So the cannon managed to finally misfire and not hit the Giant, but the engineer managed to do 3 wounds with the Wormslayer rocket. I also did 1 wound to the Crushers on the other flank. Epic close combat phase. So the Forge Wardens finally managed to do the 1 wound they needed to do to kill the chariot. The Deep Watch with my king hit the other chariot. Unfortunately, the gyrocopter died, but his sacrifice allowed the Deep Watch to overrun into the Crushers. And epic of all epic, my Doom Seeker managed to do barely enough. He only got 4 attacks, but those 4 attacks were enough to do the 2 wounds to kill the dragon. So things are interesting.
All right, well, with what's left of my army, I'm gonna try to make my way over to his side of the board and take out the rest of his shooting. I don't think my Crushers stand much of a chance against his breakers, but they're going to try to tie him up for as long as they can. My giant charged his engineer, and hopefully he can kill him. My Demon Prince is going to go over there and try to wreck his anvil and hopefully get into his Forge Wardens and kill them. So hopefully I can get rid of all of his support units if that's possible. The Crushers got eliminated as we thought they would, and the giant killed the engineer.
As we thought they would.
And overran into the cannon.
So in the movement phase, we had the Seeker. It's going to try his luck again against the giant. The rest of my shooting support units hop to the other side of the fence to try to save themselves. My Deep Watch turned around to try to face the Nurgle Warriors, and my Bomber flew over to try to keep the Nurgle Warriors from becoming a scoring unit in the breakthrough scenario. Magic saw the Steam Bomber get a couple of spells to try to keep him alive, and I failed to do anything to protect my support units. So the shooting didn't even scratch the Demon Prince, but the Doom Seeker managed to kill the giant before he could take out the cannon.
Okay, well, not much of a movement phase. I've only got 2 things to move. So I charged the Demon Prince into the anvil and moved the warriors over to get them into the scoring area to try to get through this this breakthrough. All right, well, unfortunately, the Demon Prince completely whiffed on his close combat and managed to only do 4 wounds to the anvil, which was 1 less than he needed to do. So he's stuck in combat.
Alright, so my Bloodlust may end up getting the better of me. The Deep Watch tried to charge in the rear of the Chaos Warriors and needed a 9, rolled an 8, so didn't quite make it. And so we'll have to see if if he manages to get his warriors into the deployment zone for the breakthrough. And my Doom Seeker is going for the trifecta. Probably not going to happen against the 1-up armor save, but hey, at least I'm going to force him to have to kill me. And the cannon moved on the hill. Might as well take some pot shots and see if we can't panic the Chaos Warriors off. Probably not. So magic was ineffective, shooting ineffective. Only killed 1 Chaos Warrior with a cannonball. So he managed to kill the anvil with his normal attacks, but only rolled a 2 for his Thunderstomp. And so the Doom Seeker is going to hold him in place for turn 6.
Alright, so the last thing I did was Swift Reform to get in my breakthrough scenario to get on his side of the board. And then my combat phase, I killed his Doom Seeker in retaliation for my giant and my dragon. So they are feasting in Valhalla to my Demon Prince.
All right, what a game. It looked like it was going to go definitely for the dwarves to begin with, but at the end, David ended up winning by points, so it was 13-7. But then Gabe got the secondary, so it ended up being a 10-10, exactly a draw.
Yep.
So what do you think, Gabe, was the biggest determining for the battle?
There really wasn't a single point. It was I kept having trouble getting my my combat units into combat, and it was the The chaff game was really difficult to overcome, which is a common difficulty with chaos.
Sure.
So I'll probably retool the list a bit, and it'll look a little bit different next time it comes out. But his shooting was really hard to overcome, which is what you should expect from dwarves.
So who do you think was your best unit or model on the board today?
Oh man, I don't really think I have an MVP. The
Demon Prince felt like an MVP.
That's what I thought too.
I feel like the Demon Prince did the most work
Right.
of anybody, but he just kind of did his job, and kind of kept to his side of the board, did damage, and then I think he wiped out the most units, so I'd give it to the Demon Prince.
And David, I think the charge with the Deep Watch was probably the one thing you regret on this at the end.
Yeah, I think if I would have been able to make it, I mean, I needed a 9 on a Swift Stride, so
50-50.
50-50. If I would have been able to make that, that probably could have pushed it forward. Like I said, I think if it had gone off, but again, dwarves with those short little stubby little legs, that's the problem with trying to fight with them. Again, I think with where I was in the battlefield, if I had just said, forget them, I'll just keep going, or even I was thinking about letting the crushers go and then tried killing them through shooting, and maybe if I had done that and then charged, I could have potentially had a turn earlier of pushing and then corral them up against the edge, but yeah.
So I think I already know the answer, but who was your MVP?
Oh, you gotta say the Vengeance Seeker. I mean, for their cost and the mayhem that they can create. Yeah, I last minute, in order to get more of the Forge Wardens, I actually took a second one out. So there should have been 2 of them on the field, and I was also really playing around with the idea of a Dragon Seeker, and I think that would have been, in this battle, a Dragon Seeker would have been just plain fantastic.
So is there anything with your list that, for just a regular battle, you'd be changing?
For a regular battle, I kind of like the way it's going. I've always hated war machines, and the cannon, I mean, it misfired on me once, but the misfire didn't have that same pucker moment of, oh, I could kill myself. It only did 1 out of 5 wounds, so
Sure.
I think that feels a little bit more reliable to me, because I've always hated the whole, oh, you spend all these points on a cannon and it just gives your opponent points.
And with that engineer, hitting large targets on a 2 when they're close range, that's that's really good.
That really
And
hurts.
it also, I think the major thing is it kind of forced you to come to me, which, again, whenever I played only close combat dwarves, the major problem I've had is that my opponent will usually just say, forget this, I'm faster than there, I'll run around. And I still had that happen, so I don't know. Equitane might be calling, but...
Well, we'll see those next time then. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time, and great game, guys.
Yep, thank you.
Here's a list of the upcoming 9th Age tournaments. The links to each of them are included below this video. Now the ones with an asterisk mean someone from Dark Wizard Gaming will be attending, and we hope to see you there. And if you have an upcoming tournament, let me know and we'll include it on this list after all of our battle reports. Thanks for watching our Dark Wizard Gaming video. If you enjoyed this video, please use the subscribe and the like features here on YouTube. And then leave us any comments for anything that maybe you want to see different on the videos, any upcoming content, or anything else you'd like to see. So thanks a lot, and see you on the next video.